Welcome to Soulfire Wisdom with Kate Olson. As an evolving spirit and change adventure navigator, it is Kate's mission to empower and guide you on your path and inspire your truest passions. She will encourage you to share your gifts, speak your truth, and ignite your inner wisdom and purpose. She hopes to do so with a little humor and grace, and her own soulfire passion. Kate talks with amazing guests who have embraced the pursuit and are fanning the flames of their own passion, purpose, and soulfire wisdom. Now here's your host, Kate.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Soulfire Wisdom and Tips, Tricks, and Triumphs Tuesday. So what I'm going to talk about today, if you haven't watched the show before, I'm a hypnotherapist, NLP practitioner, Reiki master, and a life coach. But I like to call myself a change adventure navigator because I love guiding people through obstacles and adversity to find their path, purpose, and peace. So I always give a little information in the beginning of the show, either a tip, a trick, or a triumph that I've had during the previous week. And so this week I wanted to talk a little bit about hurt feelings, because I had a client whose feelings were very hurt by something that somebody else did, or actually that they didn't do. Her husband, he didn't forget their anniversary, but he didn't make a big deal about it, and he didn't make any special plans for their anniversary. And so, you know, her feelings were very hurt. And one thing that we have to remember when our feelings are hurt, that it isn't really what the other person is doing or has done or hasn't done that is causing the hurt. It's how we are responding and how we are interpreting that what has happened. So the first thing I asked her was, okay, so what did you want? And she told me, and I said, well, did your husband know that? And she's like, well, of course he must have. I mean, it was our anniversary. And I said, well, so what exactly was it that hurt your feelings? And she said, well, you know, he didn't make any special plans, so I felt like, you know, he didn't care, he didn't appreciate me, he didn't love me, or doesn't love me anymore. And I said, oh, do you really believe that? Because he didn't make plans for that one day that, you know, he doesn't love you? And she thought about it for a second, and she said, well, no, but it did hurt my feelings because, you know, to me it's a special occasion. And so she was going through a lot of emotional hurt because of what she was telling herself about that one little occurrence. And we went on and talked a little more, and I asked her more about her husband and things that he does, and, you know, how she really thinks he feels about her. And she knows that he loves her, and, you know, it was totally what she was telling herself about how he responded to that one day. She had wanted him to make big plans, and for whatever reason, he didn't think that was important, maybe because of what's been going on with coronavirus. Who knows? They didn't talk about it. So the thing I want people to remember is to ask yourself, why you're feeling the way you do and what you're telling yourself, and give that a little bit more thought before you tell yourself a whole story that maybe isn't true. So we have a great show planned for today. My guest is Ruby Sanders. And Ruby is the founder of Ruby Jane Designs, an online and specialty clothing boutique based in Tubac, Arizona. She's dedicated to designing and producing clothing to flatter women of all shapes and sizes. Her designs focus on clothing that's attractive, but above all else, comfortable. Her keen eye for fashion developed from her experience and background in ladies' wear, manufacturing, and merchandising, including fabric sourcing and buying in her home country of South Africa. So, as you know, I recently moved to Arizona and have been exploring. And Tubac is a really cute little art community not too far from me. So on a recent trip down there, I met and talked to Ruby and realized that I had never, had somebody on the show who designs clothing. So I'm really excited to introduce her. Hi, Ruby.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm great.
Good.
So to start out with, why don't you tell the listeners a little bit more about your background and what brought you to your current path?
I worked in the garment industry in South Africa, a large manufacturer. We employed about 1,400 people in sewing and cutting, and we specialized in knitwear. So my affinity was for knits, the comfort of knits, the easy wearability and washability of knits. My boyfriend then encouraged me to think about what I would like to do if I didn't have to work anymore. So we got married, moved to the States, and we tried for 6 years to get pregnant, and it didn't happen. So I was 42, and we decided that was it. And I could not sit at home doing nothing. I gained weight because I was depressed. I gained weight because I was missing my family. And I couldn't find any clothing that I felt was flattering, comfortable, age appropriate, a reasonable price. So I decided to start my own clothing line, which was 2011.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, what motivated your move to the U.S.?
So my husband built the U.S. Embassy in Cape Town in South Africa, and we met through mutual friends. Dated for 3 years. He left, came back and proposed, and we've been married for 14 years now.
Oh, okay. So what challenges have you had during the past year with COVID and everything? How's that affected your business?
It's affected my business hugely. Understandably, nobody was going anywhere, so why would you buy new clothes? Why would you buy jewelry and accessories? Because you weren't going anywhere. And no matter how I marketed my line as being comfortable enough to be at home, and then wear out after all of this is over, I was hoping to get more business from women that were doing business meetings in tops and statement jewelry. And I had a little bit of that. But what was happening is people were coming into the store, women were coming into the store, would tell you how excited they were that you were still open, that you'd survived, you were still surviving, and then turn around and not buy anything. So that was really, really hard to listen to that and understand that they were coming from a good place, but it wasn't helping me stay open. I was very fortunate. I have 5 regular clients that continue to buy from me. I am pretty sure they bought stuff that they wouldn't have bought usually. I also had to let go of my only employee because I couldn't afford to keep her. And because I'm a sole proprietor and self-employed, none of the PPP loans applied to me. So that was hard. And then I was also trying to keep 2 sewers and 1 cutter in work because they relied on the money from me. So that was tough as well.
Yeah, it's been, a
Tough
lot.
for everybody. Tough for
A
everybody.
lot of businesses kind of fell through the cracks. Were you able to get the ED or EIDL business help?
I did get a low interest rate SBA loan, and if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have survived.
Yeah, that was the only
So that was a huge help. And yes, I mean, I didn't expect to actually get a loan, so I was just over the moon when I did.
Yeah.
So I was able to keep the ladies working.
So why did you decide to become a designer? What motivated you?
As I said earlier, I wasn't able to get pregnant, gained weight, a lot of weight, and couldn't find clothing that fit properly, that wasn't too short, too tight, and not having any challenges. I'm not the kind of person that sits and does nothing. I can't do it. I started my own clothing line because of that.
Okay. Had you previously learned design or?
Well, the garment factory that I worked in, I started as a designer's assistant, the design director of the company. And she was tough. Devil wears Prada, a little bit like that.
Okay.
But she told me when she gave me the job, she took a chance with me because I didn't have any experience. She told me that if I wanted to learn, she would teach me. So I went into that job with a very, very strong customer service resume because I'd worked in customer service in hotels as PAs to directors of their companies. So I had a lot, I knew how to deal with people. So I looked after a couple of departments' buyers and their orders with her. And when I was promoted to merchandiser, I would then see the garment from fit approval stage, which means the buyer signed off on the style and said everything's fabulous, until it went out the door to the stores. And the manufacturer I worked for, if I remember correctly, the retailer that we manufactured for had 420 stores. So it was we did 1 million units a year. And it was absolutely fantastic to sit at the design room floor and look down at the factory and see your styles going down the production line that you'd worked so hard on.
So not that many designers actually, like open their own store. Most of them sell their lines to, other
Yes.
companies. What made you decide to do it that way?
Well, one of the things is I'm very small. I do 30 to 50 of a style, and you really can't get competitive pricing to have a middleman to sell to a boutique, for example, because that's what I would go after, boutique business. The large retailers often only pay on 90 days. So it's very, very hard to firstly get into them, and then you've got to take everything back no matter what. So that's tough. And I was running my business out of my house quite successfully. And my husband said one day, it's really time you take the next step. You either go into wholesale manufacturing or you open a store. So I did. I opened a store because, again, my units weren't high enough to do that.
Okay.
And I love people. I love the interaction with women.
Yeah, I'm sure that it's more personal than So, how did you end up in Tubac?
My husband works for a big commercial contractor, and they got the contract to do the expansion at the Mariposa Port of Entry here in Nogales. So we moved out here, moved to Green Valley first, lived Madero Reserve up there, and fell in love with Tubac. And we bought a crazy house, and we've just spent the last 7 years renovating it. Tubac's just got a magic to it. I don't know what it is.
It does. There is definitely something about it.
I have a friend, Michelle, that says it's because it's a female nurturing energy here. That's why people are drawn to it. I don't know.
Well, I did my life coach training in Sedona, and all of the vortexes there are either male or female energy. So maybe it's.
I didn't know that.
Yes. So, what most inspires your designs, for both your clothing and your jewelry?
Well, with the clothing, I obviously look at the trends, look what's on the runways, look what's happening for future. And then I believe my talent is in looking at a high fashion item that only 6 foot tall, 100-pound models can wear, and say, how could I adapt that for you and I?
Okay.
And make it modern, but still, I don't like to use the word classic because that implies that it's not modern. But modern, but you can still wear it. I have clients that have got the same top like for 8 years, and they come in and they're still wearing it, and it still looks relevant. So that's that inspires me. I also am very inspired by my clients, and I listen to them. Like when I first started being in Green Valley, I had an older client base, and I couldn't understand why nothing sleeveless was selling. So I started asking questions, and I learned that a lot of women don't like their arms. So I came up with this elbow length sleeve that I do for half the styles, and the other half sleeveless for summer. So things like that, and necklines were too low. So, I made the necklines more modest, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Oh, and the jewelry I get from a supplier that imports jewelry from all over the world, and he just has beautiful prices, gorgeous products, and I buy those jewelry pieces to fit in with what I'm doing in the store and what colors I'm producing, so that a client can come in and she can buy the whole lot except for the shoes.
Okay, so you don't actually design the jewelry yourself?
I used to, but the clothing has taken up too much time now because it's very labor intensive.
Okay, so what is all of the stuff that is in your shop also available online, or do you have different stuff online?
I have the same stuff. I just often sell out of a jewelry piece or a shawl or a kimono, and most of those are imported. I don't make them. I sell out of those very quickly, and sometimes don't even have a chance to put it on the website. But all my existing styles for summer are in the process of being uploaded now. My first spring is already up.
Okay, I'll have to come down because it's been a while, so I probably didn't see any of your
new stuff.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I do is, if you come into my store and your size and color is not available in the style that you like, I can then make it for you. I cut it myself, and then I have a seamstress that does special orders, as I call them, for my clients, which is a huge plus that we can do that.
Yes, definitely. So where do you actually make the clothes?
So I have a home sewer and a home cutter. I bought them machines. They had lots of experience. The cutter I trained with help of my pattern maker, and bought a huge cutting table. Actually, I didn't buy it. My husband made it for me, and did some trials and some lessons. So they are both in Tucson. And then there is a new factory in Tucson. It used to be called Arizona Apparel, and the owner sold it to a young woman. She's got an MBA. She's got lots of drive, Erica, and it's called Sonoran Stitch Factory. And there's such a demand for sewn product production. She does everything from duvet covers to clothing and bras that she can't keep up. So the biggest challenge here is for her to find more sewers, more cutters, a production manager, so that she can continue to grow the business. But she's really great to work with.
Oh, great. So what's the most challenging aspect of designing clothes and the clothing business in general?
Well, here in Arizona, because I'm passionate about producing it here and not in LA or New York, or Houston's a big hub now for clothing manufacturing, is that people are not reliable. The people that you contact with, like the home sewer or the cutter, and it's hard work. So after a couple of years, they'll say, I don't want to do this anymore. And it's just happened to me right now where my cutter has decided she doesn't want to work anymore. And because there's no contract, because I'm just doing, contract work with her, giving her orders at a time, she doesn't give me any notice. So I, stuck with my hands in the air saying, what now? That's a big challenge. Fabric, I get it all from the same mill. Every now and again, there'll be something wrong with the quality. And because I have so much experience with fabric buying, I can tell the mill what's wrong with it. And they don't like that.
Oh.
So I have to fight to get the fabric either replaced or refunded. So that's a big challenge. And it's definitely gotten worse since COVID. So I don't know if they're buying cheaper yarn or what it is, but I've had to send some colors back.
And is your the mill that makes your fabric, is that also in the US?
Oh, sorry, it's in Canada and Montreal. So they import the yarn, they weave it in Montreal, and they dye it there, and then they finish it.
Okay. So since your fabrics are knit, are those washable, or do they need to be dry cleaned?
Oh no, they're very easy care. You literally delicate wash, similar colors. I put it in the tumble dryer and low for 5 minutes to get the wrinkles out, shake it up, hang it. And I put the clothes on just like that. I'm all about easy care. I'm all about not wasting time on ironing or steaming.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons I've kind of gone away from linen, because it never looks good. It's always rumpled, although I do like to wear it.
Yeah.
So really easy care.
Cotton and linen, but I also don't like ironing. So.
The other thing about the fabric that is fantastic is I started my line with cotton spandex, but the cotton would pill, make little balls, if you rubbed against it, and it would lose its color, would fade from many washes. And my clients wear my things over and over again. So that's why I changed the rayon spandex, which is a man-made fabric, but it's from wood pulp. So it is a natural fiber, and it breathes beautifully for Arizona. It really does.
Okay.
And the color doesn't fade, and it doesn't pill.
So what do you love most about designing, or what is the biggest, reward that you get from your work?
My biggest reward is when a client walks in, she says she hates clothing shopping, but she needs blah, blah, blah. And I will ask her, some questions like, what color does she like? Does she like sleeveless? Does she like sleeves? Does she like a short dress or a long dress? That kind of thing. And I'll go and pull some pieces for her. And some of them won't work. But that moment when she looks in the mirror and smiles, and you can see by her face that she's looking at herself and thinking, damn, I look good. That is my favorite thing. And my second favorite thing is mothers and daughters that come in and shop together, because it's so fun to dress both of them and make the one this age appropriate and the younger one that age appropriate, and knowing that my line is actually crossing over those ages. And then I miss my mother. So I think that's another reason that I enjoy working with mothers and daughters.
Yes. So do you get a lot of online business?
No, I got my website refreshed in February by a very talented website designer in in New York. And the website looks fantastic. But unfortunately, I've learned that my existing client base that are local and then are snowbirds, they don't want to buy online from me. They want to buy from me in person. So unfortunately, I don't get that snowbird business continuing with the clients because they want to deal with me personally. And then I've also learned that you have to put your product in front of people over and over again who don't know you, don't know your line, don't know what you're about. Mm-hmm. And it's not quick. So when I started with the paid social and the adverts and everything, she warned me. She said it's going to take a good 6 months before you see any kind of uptick in online sales. So the online sales have been very, very small.
So how long have you been doing the online?
I've been doing the online for about 3 years now, but I wasn't doing a good job. I didn't have the right people administering it, uploading and all of that stuff. And I didn't have a good structure. And it was difficult to check out. There were too many steps. And the new website really is fantastic. I mean, it will tell you, you look at something and it will say you might like this, or what about these pants with this, that kind of thing, which is wonderful.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have gotten more used to buying things that they didn't think they would buy online over the COVID period.
Yes.
And so I think that all online business will have an increase as we go forward, just because, I know I've bought more online than I ever did before.
Yes.
I just bought some shoes online, and I'd never done that before. So
I always buy my shoes online. I am a avid sale shopper when it comes to shoes, because the comfortable shoes that are cute are expensive.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm still converting it times 10 to South African rand. And I'm like, I'm not spending 2,000 rand on a pair of shoes. So I monitor that shoe until it goes on sale. And that's when I get it online.
Well, between different brands of shoes, they can fit differently.
Exactly.
So that was what concerned me. I was just buying some walking shoes, but I was worried that they wouldn't fit right. And
did you buy them on Amazon?
Yep. And
so I've been using Amazon a lot for the last couple of years, because there's a lot of raw materials and threads and trims that I can't get in Tucson, because I try and support local as much as I can. And Amazon's just so easy. And with the shoes and actually anything that I order, I make sure that it says free shipping and free returns.
Yes. And I guess now even you can, try it before you pay for it. I didn't use that because the shipping wasn't as quick as with my, Amazon Prime, but
exactly.
It worked out. They fit great. So.
Good.
So this question might seem a little off topic, but I've been asking my guests for a while. So what has surprised you most about life so far?
Wow, that's a tough one. Probably how hard it was to leave South Africa. I thought it would be like exciting, new life, the USA, New York, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And what has surprised me, it's been 14 years now, is I never thought I'd put roots down anywhere else. I still miss South Africa a lot, every day sometimes. But that surprised me that I actually put roots down here, and I'm very happy here. And the other thing that surprised me is I am finally over my South African paranoia about crime, because my husband works out of town often for, a year. And I'd be petrified, listening to every single noise, thinking somebody was breaking in. And I finally am over that, which I thought I never would be. So those are two things. And then just how wonderful the American women have been accepting me and giving me a chance with my clothing line. I didn't think it would be not easy, but I didn't think they would be so warm and accepting.
Well, I'm glad they have been. So, yeah, I haven't moved to another country, but I've always, like you, it's hard to imagine, although I have thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I've always wondered when I meet people from other countries. That's part of why I started talking to you, actually, is because I always want to know about, what motivated somebody to make that big move from. Yes,
I say love or stupidity, depending on how much my husband has upset me that week.
Okay. So, if you could leave the listeners with one thought from today's show, what would you want that to be?
Wow. I suppose the thing, does it have to do with fashion?
No.
I suppose the thing would be, as everybody is always telling you over and over again, is to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am good, I am beautiful, I am worthy. Because none of us are perfect. And yes, what do they say? No one here is going to get out alive. Yeah. So we must enjoy every moment. My eldest brother had cancer, lung cancer, and he almost passed away. And he is unbelievable, but I appreciate absolutely everything. So I'm trying to do that. I'm trying not to look at the wrinkles that are starting to come and the flabby arms and all the rest that come with it, and just embrace the fact that I'm lucky that I'm healthy and here. And
so some very wise words there.
Well, gratitude, right?
Their wisdom.
I want to actually leave with a little story about my mother. Okay. So she's 88 now, and she lives in a one-bedroom cottage in a retirement village in Port Elizabeth, my hometown. And a friend of hers also moves into the retirement village, and what they do when you move in is they gut the entire place, and you choose what you want to do with your floors, and you choose your kitchen, all of that. But it's not fancy. Everything is melamine. It's not fancy at all. Mm-hmm. So she just got white cabinets with like a dark melamine top. So her friend moved in, and her friend's kitchen was so much cuter than hers. It had like mock wood stuff on it, and very pretty countertop. So I decided I was going to replace the doors and the countertop for my mom in her little kitchen. And when I did that, when it was done, she said to me, "How lucky am I at the ripe old age of 85 that I get to choose my own kitchen." Now, most people would say, I had to wait until I was 85. Isn't that awful? To choose my first new kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Yes. So it's all about attitude and the way you look at it.
It is actually, that is a very good story. There is a story that's posted from time to time on Facebook about an older lady in her 80s or 90s who gets up every morning, and even though her husband's passed away years ago and she lives in a retirement community, she gets up every morning and fixes herself up, just like perfect. And she she had to move from her home into this retirement community, and it wasn't as luxurious, as you said, as her own home had been. But her attitude when she saw the room that they had for her there was, this is just lovely. This is, beautiful. This is, this really makes my day. And that is why she, was, still healthy and active and,
All about attitude, all about attitude.
She never looked at the negative side. Everything was, beautiful, and or she saw the beauty in it.
In it.
Yes.
That's a great story too.
And that is really the difference between like a good day and a bad day. It's how you look at it.
That is something that I should have maybe said when you said what to take away from the show today, is that if I get dressed, put on mascara, some tinted lip balm, I don't put on fancy shoes or jewelry, but if I get dressed in something that I would happily go to the store and bump into somebody that I know, it makes a difference to how your day goes. I know that sounds very superficial.
Well, it does. And even
but it does.
I mean, we're all going around wearing masks and you can't see half of our face. But I've heard so many people say that, washing my hair and putting on makeup, made me feel so good.
Yes, absolutely.
So, well, thank you for being here today and telling us about your business and your life. I don't know if you noticed what I called the show today. I called it Passions of a Designing Woman.
Yes.
So,
I like that very much.
Thank you for sharing those passions with us.
Thank you, Kate.
Could you give the audience the contact information for your online and your store?
My website is rubyjanedesigns.com, and I am at 10A Tubac Road in Tubac in the village, right across from the empty parking lot next to Lone Mountain Turquoise Company. Right now, my hours are 11 to 4, Wednesday to Friday, and 10 to 3 on a Saturday. I'm also available for private appointments, and my phone number is 480-766-0017.
Okay. If you forget that, it's also listed on the guest page on the radio website, and that's soulfireradio.com. You just click on guests and scroll down to Ruby's name, and you'll find the website information. So
thank you.
So we have another great show planned for next week. That'll actually be June, and 3 p.m. on Tuesday. So be sure to join us next week. And I'm just going to say bye for now. Thanks again, Ruby.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for listening to Soul Fire Wisdom with Kate Olson. We hope you enjoyed the show. If we made you laugh, brightened your day, or sparked a new thought, we have succeeded in our mission. Join us next time when we'll share more secrets and truths and all the magic of transformation that is the journey to Soul Fire Wisdom. Always remember, be fierce in the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire.